Barnum and Bailey would have undoubtedly been proud. There may not have been elephants, though, or jugglers, or trapeze artists flying through the air, but for hours and hours and hours today, former FBI investigator Peter Strzok was walking a tightrope that Republicans desperately tried to knock him off of.
You're asking us to believe that when you say things like F Trump and stop Trump and impeach Trump, that those are just personal beliefs, and that when you say those things, you never cross that line.
Sir, I'm asking you to believe, and I'm offering you evidence.
You have, under oath, been as clear as a bell on that.
How many interviews did you conduct related to the alleged collusion between Russia and the Trump campaign?
The special counsel's equities has instructed me not to answer questions about the ongoing investigation.
I'm asking.
Did you know that he was meeting with representatives from Fusion, including Glenn Simpson?
I cannot discuss the content of the operational matters.
And your testimony is Bob Mueller did not kick you off because of the content of your text.
It is not my understanding that he kicked me off because of any bias. I don't appreciate what was originally said being changed.
I don't give a damn what you appreciate, Agent Strzok.
Well, would he get kicked off for having bad breath? I mean, this is ridiculous. Meanwhile, of course, we saw Democrats stretching out the nets to save Strzok at every turn, using explosive denunciations and every lame parliamentary trick in the book.
Mr. Strzok, you are under subpoena and are required to answer the question. Are you objecting to the question? If so, please state your objection.
Mr. Chairman, I object.
The gentleman does not have standing to object. There is no
point of order.
No point of order here.
Point of order, it should be heard.
I move to subpoena Steve Bannon in our House Intelligence investigation. The motion has to be heard immediately, Mr. Chairman.
The motion is not germane.
I move to overrule the ruling of the chair.
Motion been made to table.
I need a Pepto-Bismol. That was very, very dramatic. Now, when that tactic got old, though, Democrats just tried to change the subject altogether.
There are 3,000 children separated from their moms and dads, and the government doesn't know where their moms and dads are. That seems like something the Judiciary Committee should be investigating.
What we have not done is investigated the children being stolen away from their families, nor have we looked at our president meeting with Mr. Putin.
Mr. Strzok, you are before this committee for one reason, to serve as a monumental distraction. They need to identify a villain. Mr. Strzok, tag, you're it.
No, you're it. I love these games, hijinks, games, circus. Stay with me here, because there were moments when the hearing went from circus light to a complete sideshow.
And I've talked to FBI agents around the country. You've embarrassed them. You've embarrassed yourself. And I can't help but wonder, when I see you looking there with a little smirk, how many times did you look so innocent into your wife's eye and lie to her about Lisa?
Mr. Chairman, it's outrageous.
The credibility of a witness is always an issue.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, I understand that passions are running high, but I have a question here. What did that accomplish exactly? Now, at some point, the obfuscation and the hyperbole on both sides tend to cancel each other out. And most Americans watching the House oversight proceedings for any length of time today probably thought to themselves, is this really what it's come to? At times, it seemed they were more like contestants in both parties, and they were competing for the soundbite of the day.
I never prejudged anything. Not in this case, not in any others.
Impeachment
Second,
for what, Agent Strzok?
You mentioned the use of the word impeachment. That was used in the context of my not knowing what this would lead to.
Agent Strzok, are you kidding?
If there are two people that are thrilled and excited today, there are two people, the folks over at Fox News and at the Kremlin.
I have never seen my colleagues so out of control.
If I could give you a Purple Heart, I would. You deserve one.
All the veterans must have felt really good about that little line. That didn't work. But set all that aside for just a moment. And we're still at the same point, basically, we've been at almost for the past year or so. The FBI agent in charge of two of the most important political investigations of the past decade was steeped in animus toward candidate and then President Trump. At a time when he was supposedly impartially examining and overseeing the Clinton email investigation, he was pretty much actively rooting for her election victory. He agonized, and you read it in the text messages, about the possibility that Trump would win, and he assured his then lover that he would not let that happen. But pay no attention to that, because there's no bias there.
There is no act of bias. So this false assertion that you're making that political personal belief must equal bias, that somehow we've merged those two words together in the dictionary, is one of the triumphs of what's been going on recently that I cannot disagree with more, is that I and the other men and women of the FBI every day take our personal beliefs and set those aside in vigorous pursuit of the truth, wherever it lies, whatever it is.
Okay, I have a question. So do the men and women of the FBI who run really high-profile investigations, do they really carry on a running commentary via text message about the subject of their investigations and what they hope happens to the key players therein? I don't think so, and I certainly hope not. But that is precisely what Strzok did. Now, there is no doubt, of course, as was repeated over and over again today, that FBI agents are like everybody else. They are entitled to their own political opinions, and they have them. But the blatant biases revealed in Strzok's text and the specificity therein, how he discussed them with his girlfriend, are troubling, and they remain so. He claims to take great offense, and he was sitting up very straight and looking down his nose at everybody at the thought that anyone should believe from his own writings that he meant to stop Trump's election and create that insurance policy that he referenced to guarantee Trump's defeat. But that is what he wrote. And he wrote it, as he said today, when he thought nobody was looking but his girlfriend. Strzok's continuing denials of bias are as incredible and maddening as today's hearing. And that's the angle.